In a small town nestled between rolling hills and silent forests, there lived a boy named Aarav. At first glance, there was nothing remarkable about him. He was shy, quiet, and always seemed to blend into the background. In a world that celebrated loud voices and flashy talents, Aarav was invisible. At school, he rarely raised his hand, never spoke unless spoken to, and kept to himself. His classmates often mistook his silence for weakness. Some called him Mute Aarav, others laughed behind his back, assuming he had nothing to offer. But there was something different about Aarav, something most people failed to see. Every evening after school, while others played or scrolled through their phones, Aarav walked to the edge of the forest. There, beneath an old banyan tree, he practiced martial arts, alone, disciplined, and focused. His grandfather had once been a national-level martial artist. Before passing away, he had passed down his knowledge, not just of the movements and strikes, but of the philosophy behind it. True strength, his grandfather had said, is quiet. It doesn't boast. It doesn't threaten. It waits. And when the moment comes, it acts. These words became Aarav's compass. Despite his dedication, life at school didn't get easier. When sports day arrived, no one asked him to join a team. Teachers didn't consider him for debates or cultural events. To them, he was a shadow in the hallway. But Aarav never protested. He didn't need a spotlight, he was building something inside, something no one could see yet. At home, his parents worried. You need to be more social, his mother would say. Speak up for yourself, urged his father. But Aarav simply smiled and nodded. He wasn't ready, not yet. His classmates continued to judge him by what he didn't say, not by who he was. But silence is not emptiness. Sometimes, it's the loudest scream of discipline, of focus, of fire waiting to burn. One day, the school announced an inter-school martial arts tournament. It was the first of its kind, a major event. Teams were being formed. Practices started. Excitement buzzed through the corridors. Aarav quietly signed up. The coach, Mr. Bhatia, raised an eyebrow when he saw his name. Are you sure you want to do this? Aarav simply nodded. When the team tryouts began, the crowd was loud, each participant eager to show off their kicks, flips, and fierce yells. Aarav stepped into the ring silently. No bravado. No flashy moves. But when he moved, it was like water. Fluid. Controlled. Focused. His punches were precise, his blocks seamless. His form, perfect. The gym fell silent. Mr. Bhatia watched, stunned. This was no ordinary kid. By the end of the session, Aarav had earned a place on the team, not out of sympathy, but out of sheer merit. For the first time, the students saw him not as Mute Aarav, but as someone to reckon with. The day of the tournament arrived. Teams from different schools gathered, each participant looking like a warrior ready for battle. Aarav's school had high hopes, and with him now on the team, expectations quietly rose. As the matches progressed, Aarav advanced round after round, defeating opponents not with aggression, but with grace and precision. He never taunted, never smirked, just bowed respectfully before and after each fight. Then came the final round. His opponent was Kabir Singh, two-time state champion, known for his explosive power and aggressive style. The crowd cheered as Kabir entered the ring. Aarav followed, silent as ever. The match began. Kabir attacked like a storm, fast, powerful, loud. But Aarav didn't panic. He flowed like a stream, dodging, blocking, countering. His silence unnerved Kabir. With every failed strike, Kabir grew more frustrated. Then, in a swift moment of clarity, Aarav saw an opening. A single, clean move, a sweep, a spin, a strike. Kabir fell. The referee raised Aarav's hand. The crowd was stunned. Then, slowly, applause erupted. Not for the flashiest fighter, but for the silent warrior who had just conquered the loudest storm. After that day, everything changed. Aarav's silence was no longer seen as weakness, but as depth. Teachers began to notice him. Students sought his advice. But Aarav remained the same, humble, disciplined, kind. He started teaching younger kids martial arts, focusing not just on technique, but on inner strength. He became a quiet leader, someone who proved that confidence doesn't always roar, it sometimes whispers. And as years passed, Aarav's story spread, not just in his town, but across the country. Articles were written about the silent warrior. He was invited to speak at events, mentor athletes, and even train with national teams. Yet, even on his biggest days, he would walk back to that old banyan tree and practice alone, just like before. Because to him, true strength was never about applause. Years later, at a motivational event, a young boy stood nervously before a crowd. It was his first speech. In the front row sat Aarav, now a respected coach and mentor. The boy fumbled. He stammered. The crowd grew restless. Aarav stood, walked up, and gently placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. Then he whispered. "You don't have to be loud to be heard. Just be real. Speak from your truth." The boy nodded. And when he spoke again, it wasn't louder, but it was clearer. Stronger. Truer. Because sometimes, the strongest warriors fight not with noise, but with quiet conviction. Moral of the story. Never underestimate the power of silence. Quiet strength is still strength. In a world full of noise, the one who listens deeply, moves wisely, and acts with intention often ends up leading the loudest revolution.